Good morning. Thank you everybody for coming here. I have the pleasure to wake you up on this beautiful Saturday morning in Taipei. All right, so I'll be giving a recap of SUI over the last year or so. Okay, so for those of you that are not as familiar with SUI, a lot of people think of SUI as a third generation blockchain. So Gen 1 is where you have your Bitcoin, where you've got a blockchain, you have some peer-to-peer consensus. Second generation is the Ethereum era, where there's ETH and all the level 2s, and it's giving you programmability for the platform. And with SUI, we really set out to build a technology stack that can power the internet. So we wanted SUI to have the scalability and the performance that the internet needs. We wanted to give users the kind of accessibility and usability that people are used to from the internet. And it will be a different kind of an internet where in Web3, it is not controlled by centralized actors, it is permissionless, and the digital assets you create on this chain are actually owned by you. So before that, I want to talk a little bit about how SUI came to be and what its origin story is. So SUI was created by a team that have many years of technology experience across Meta, which is Facebook, and also Apple, Oracle, and VMware. What's interesting about the founding team is that they all come with quite a lot of diverse expertise in different areas. They have expertise across distributed systems, programming language, cryptography, and security engineering. And you can see here the CTO, Stian Blackshear. He actually created the Move programming language back at Facebook. And Move is now used by multiple ecosystems in addition to SUI itself. So how does SUI revolutionize smart contract programming? So SUI is really based on this asset-centric object model, where the digital asset itself is in the center of all the smart contract and is treated like a first-class citizen. So what does that mean? When the asset is the center of the smart contract, you actually get quite a lot of security by default. And throughout the programming language, there's protection that is built in to protect you from security exploits. Another aspect of SUI is that using object is very intuitive and very expressive. So this really allows, say, Web2 developers who have never seen smart contracts before, or accounts or Solidity before, they can actually learn SUI Move very easily and very quickly, and it also allows them to really focus on the problems that their applications have. So Mainnet was launched in May of 2023, so it's been about 18 months since the Mainnet came to the world. So throughout the last year, we continue to make a lot of improvements and also upgrades to SUI. We also brought multiple records during this year. I'm going to show you what these are. So one of the first and most substantial upgrade we made in 2024 is the consensus engine. So there's a new consensus engine that we rolled out called Mr. SETI. I think our engineer who built Mr. SETI actually is around in Taipei Blockchain Week. So go say hi to him at the booth. So this new consensus engine took the consensus latency from almost 2 seconds to just about 400 milliseconds. That is a over 80% reduction in latency. So what does this actually mean in practice? So for DeFi, this has made a really large difference. Before Mr. SETI, if you try to execute a swap on SUI, what you actually see is that it takes you about 2 seconds or 3 seconds for that swap to actually complete. However, after Mr. SETI, your swaps that you're trying to make on SUI now can consistently finish in under 1 second. We actually did a comparison with Solana's Jupiter. When you try to execute a swap on Jupiter, it takes you about 3 to 4 seconds until the user interface tells you your swap has been complete. And on SUI, again, when you try to conduct a swap, it's actually going to get finished in under 1 second. So Mr. SETI really established the fact that SUI now has the fastest consensus in the entire industry. And for DeFi, now your trading experience can be very fast, very smooth, and very seamless, whether you're a retail user or whether you're an institutional user. And this type of upgrade is needed for us to take DeFi to mainstream applications. All right, so we have grown a lot in this past year. DeFi, I think in January of this year, our DeFi TVO was at about 220 million in January. And by now, it has grown by over 8 times to 1.8 billion TVO. DEX volume also got quite high. It exceeded 35 billion. In gaming, through multiple games with our partners in Korea, NHN, and also NCSoft, there's now multiple games that's bringing over 300,000 daily active wallets to SUI as part of these games onboarding. When it comes to infrastructure, we have a number of basically indexers, bridges, hyperscaler cloud providers that has also integrated with SUI. The ecosystem is becoming richer and more diverse every day. So you can see a couple of fintechs. Ant Financial is a very large fintech in Greater China. You can see Revolut, which is also very prevalent in Europe. So we have fintech integrations through these 2 partners. You can also see R2 is a fine arts tokenization project, and they're actually tokenizing masterpieces from Picasso, Kandinsky, Monet onto SUI. You will also see Circle. They brought native USDC to SUI, and we announced this back in Singapore Token 2049 earlier this September. We also have projects like 3DOS. This is actually a DePIN project where they're tokenizing a network of 3D printers on SUI. So the SUI ecosystem at this point is very diverse, and it spans many different types of verticals beyond just gaming and DeFi. All right, I already talked about the fact that the TVO has grown a lot over this year by over 8x. On this graph on the right, you can also see that the amount of stablecoins that's been bridged into SUI has also been increasing very dramatically over the same time period. These numbers are really large and really impressive. However, they really are a testament to the DeFi protocols and the DeFi teams that are building on SUI. Scallop and SuiLend are the 2 largest lending protocols on SUI today. They both have deep roots in Taiwan. Bucket Protocol is a stablecoin protocol that is very similar to DAI. They also are a Taiwan-based team. Taipei Finance, they offer options trading, yields, and also perpetuals. They are also a Taiwanese team. So without the commitment and dedication of our DeFi teams, we would not have gotten this much traction on SUI. So we want to express a deep appreciation and gratitude to our builders that are building on the ecosystem. Okay, so we're going to switch over to gaming in a little bit. But before that, we're going to look at some high-level blockchain numbers. SUI is a high-throughput and high-performance chain. So because of that, the transaction count is going to be very high. After 18 months of mainnet, there's now over 7.4 billion transactions that are now recorded on-chain. The number of active accounts has also grown very steadily. You're sort of looking at a snapshot for the last 30 days. But the total number of active accounts over the lifetime of SUI is now over 32 million as well. Okay, now I can really switch gears to gaming. So Web3 games is a very fascinating topic. But as SUI, we believe that gaming is going to be the key for onboarding the masses into Web3 and onto crypto. Today, there's 3.3 billion gamers who are spending more money on games than movies and all the other forms of entertainment that's added together. And we believe that a gaming experience that is first class, that is premium, it's what's really gonna bring the masses over. So gamers can really, they can start by owning some form of game token. This will become a gateway that lead them into other activities on chain. So maybe from owning a gaming token, they can now interact with other games. They can interact with DeFi, perform swaps, and perform staking, and engage with marketplaces. So we believe SUI is the ideal platform for bringing Web3 games to the masses. We have the performance and the scalability that games need. There's also technology like ZK Login, where you can interact with the blockchain without going through clunky experiences that you may run into with a crypto wallet. Okay. So top games are choosing to come to SUI. Let me show you some of them.
You will see me very soon.
So you can see these are not the simple pixelated Web3 games of the earlier era. These are very sophisticated games that have sophisticated visual effects, has very sophisticated gameplays. And you may be actually playing one of these games sometime soon on SUI. Earlier this year at Basecamp in Paris and also in Korea Blockchain Week, we unveiled a device called SUI Play 0x1. This is the form of a handheld PC that we believe will be the next generation experience of interacting with Web3 games. So 0x1 is powered by the very powerful Playtron operating system. And Playtron has industry-defining graphics. It has industry-leading battery power. It also has the industry-leading SUI ecosystem as a whole, as part of it. And we believe 0x1 will give you an accelerating gameplay experience where you actually have a portable PC, but this portable PC is completely designed and dedicated for gaming only. So you can bring your PC games over to 0x1. You can bring your Android games. You can bring your Web2 games and your Web3 games. And all of these will be available at your fingertips on 0x1. So we are actually one of the only L1 ecosystems that has partnered to create such a device. And this is because we believe that in order to bring the masses of Web3 gamers onto blockchain, you need an experience that's very portable. You need an experience that's very premium in order to really get people onboarded and understand the value of Web3 gaming. You can order them now. Pre-orders are available. You can scan this QR code. Early holders of the device will be given access to exclusive rewards and also different kind of perks if you buy the device. Okay, so we've talked about DeFi, we've talked about gaming, we've talked about infrastructure, we talked about consensus. So what's coming next? All right, so I would like to introduce Walrus. Walrus is the next decentralized protocol that is created by the creators of SUI, but using SUI itself. Some of you may be wondering about where the name is coming from. So Walrus is actually a decentralized data storage protocol, and it is designed to store blobs, which stands for binary large objects. And because a walrus is really kind of a very blobby, fat animal, our team decided to have some fun with the name, and there comes Walrus. So why should you care about decentralized storage? Why does it matter? Well, so today, as different applications go on-chain, they can bring their business logic on-chain. However, the one piece that they're not able to bring on-chain is the data that they have that are associated with these digital assets. Most of the time, they're still mainly stored in centralized storage. So they are stored in AWS S3, or they are stored in Google Cloud Storage. And so what's the problem with storing them in centralized storage? Well, by and large, when you look at centralized storage solutions, resiliency is not something that's designed into their product. Usually you have to pay extra money to store redundant copies to get the reliability and the resiliency that you actually want for data that is important to your business. The platform really owns this data. They can take down the data. They can take away your access to this data whenever they want to. It's a massive exercise if you ever decide to leave. Migrating data out of these centralized platforms are actually very difficult. Provenance is not a problem that's being solved at all by centralized platforms. They are essentially non-existent. So we believe in order to make the vision of Web3 become a reality, we actually really need to solve and tackle the storage problem for Web3. So Walrus is the next foundational infrastructure that is needed to make the decentralized Web3 vision a reality. Walrus is designed so that it can actually be cheaper and faster and a lot more sensible and easier to use than the existing decentralized storage solutions. All right, this next slide has quite a lot of information, but I'm only gonna talk about 2 of the points. And these 2 points are really what makes Walrus a complete breakthrough in the space of decentralized technology. So first one I'm gonna talk about is replication here in the middle. Normally, when you go into a decentralized storage system, if I store 1 megabyte, that same 1 megabyte has to be replicated in every single node on the network. So if I have 100 nodes, that 1 megabyte has to be stored 100 different times. That is not the case in Walrus. In Walrus, our research team created a very novel 2-dimensional Reed-Solomon encoding. It's called Red Stuff. It's described in a lot of detail in our white paper. But the effect of this encoding algorithm is that whether you have 100 nodes on Walrus, 1,000 nodes or 2,000 nodes, that same 1 megabyte of data that you uploaded, it's always stored only 4 to 5 times. So this is one piece of technology that makes Walrus very unique and makes Walrus much more advanced than what exists today. Second aspect is that Walrus is programmable. And this is a result of building Walrus on SUI itself. Your Walrus storage capacity is now a tokenized digital asset that's available on the SUI blockchain. So you can now use smart contracts to do very sophisticated storage management and data lifecycle management. You can build a storage marketplace or a rental protocol on top of SUI for Walrus. You can integrate it into DeFi, you can integrate it into games, and many possibilities become a reality when you have programmable storage. So currently, Walrus is on a public testnet. There are 30 different nodes operated by our community. The tokenomics is working as intended. It's a delegated proof-of-stake network. So staking, unstaking, rewards are also all working. We designed Walrus so that the blobs can be deleted if you ever need to. This lets you be more efficient with your storage as well. So this public testnet is already available. I think we already have about 4 terabytes of data that's already actively people have been uploading into Walrus. And obviously, our next big milestone for Walrus is taking it to mainnet. Sometime in 2025, we will bring this network to a permanent mainnet, and anybody can use it to store your data, your personal photos. You can make a personal website and store it on Walrus, and it will never get taken down or censored. All right, that takes me to the end of my talk. If you're curious about any of the things we talked about today, SUI, 0x1, and also Walrus, you can scan these QR codes and learn a little bit more about them in detail. I'm also happy to connect with anybody who have questions or who want to have discussions. Thank you very much.